Hi everybody, welcome on board. Today I'm alone. I'm Einstein from Dog's Garage, as you could see. And we have a special guest today. It's an incredible friend, firstly, and it's considered as a Bible because I think nobody knows the trilogy better than him. But first, as we will visit Hill Valley, and perhaps we will have an explanation about some different and some troubles we have had yesterday. And our reporter, Kevin Bush, could give us some details or explanation about that. And it will be cool, I'm sure. And don't forget, we have two auctions. Firstly, the first one, it's the Jordan Samples Robert Zemeckis painting, which is in auction till the 21st. And the second one is the auction about the duck's photo. It will end at 8 o'clock. It means in 30 minutes. So guys, if you want these production items coming right from this set, goes in my profile, find the post and put a price, a bid, and hopefully you could win. And you have to know that every benefits goes for Team Fox, of course. Like you will see that. Don't hesitate, don't be shy, donate. And now it's time to visit Hill Valley with our special friend, Kevin Bush, of course. So welcome on board, Kevin. And I will put you, here you are.
Hey,
I hope
how are you?
fine. Very fine. Yeah, I'm Einstein today because I'm without my dog. He took the time machine to go, I don't know, perhaps in the past or in the future, to see the prizes and perhaps to win the raffle, because we have an awesome raffle as we have presented yesterday. We have also a raffle for the poster of the Back to the Future, the musical in Manchester. So it will be a great thing. So, Kevin, I said to the people who are watching us that perhaps you could give us some explanation about the troubles you have yesterday of the mall, because on the net we have seen some picture or something like that. So
Yeah.
I let you give some explanation about this thing. Thanks.
So I'm going to share my screen if I can. Do you see it?
No, at the moment, no, but up, yes, it's centering. So I will put it like that.
Yeah. So this is if you can
If you want,
here,
if you want it in full screen, just tell me.
Make it full screen.
Yep, this one.
Oh wait, no.
Yep.
So as you can see, the reason that yesterday the parking lot at the mall was closed off was because they were filming something either the night before. They were filming something last night and maybe the night before. And as you can tell from this picture, it's a Back to the Future thing.
It's a time machine.
Yeah. I posted this. I saw this in a different group, and it made sense why it was closed off. And then some people went there last night, and this is one of the pictures. So you can see Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, the dog.
There. They were filming something. Not sure what they were filming, but it was. People are saying that it's the episode of the Netflix series, the movies that made us. But it looks less like a documentary, more like they were like a commercial or something. So who knows? But yeah, so that's why the mall was the parking lot was closed yesterday, because they were filming.
Okay, so can't wait to see this thing on Netflix. Or, as you said, who knows? The future will tell us.
Yeah.
So today it's not some direct live. We will you will share some scenes about location, because it's difficult to make the live today. So what's the location we will visit today? Which one?
Well, are you able to see my shared screen, or is that not coming up?
Yep.
Is it all gray, or do you see the image?
No, it's all gray.
He entered the mall. Uh-oh. Okay, let me see if I can fix this.
Yeah,
there we are.
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay, so today we're gonna do a let's see if I can change this. Today we're gonna do a quick since I wasn't able to do a lot of the mall yesterday, we're going to do a quick overview of the pre-recorded video that I'd done for the mall. I'm gonna like kind of shuttle through it, but it's just I'm gonna show you some of the things and talk about some of the things I didn't get to talk about yesterday. And then we're gonna do Line Estates 1955, which is it's pretty secluded.
Cool.
But let me get through the mall. I'll do this really quick. There's a lot of stuff that we missed yesterday because I didn't want to cross that line. So here, this is just kind of like a little. I'm gonna shuttle through this. This is me driving through. Yesterday or the other day, we saw this yesterday, but I just wanted to show this. This is the view coming into the mall. And then over here, as I pointed out yesterday, in this area, this is where the Libyans come from. And then this is kind of the trajectory the Libyans take. They kind of cross through the mall, or the parking lot, but I didn't want to do that. This is the entrance to the mall. I just want to show everybody like a different point of view. And then usually this is where we park. Like this little, this post is like kind of our landmark. So here we are. We're back at the top of the hill. This is where Marty comes down through. As you can see, this is, the mall is here. I'm standing where the sign would be. And then I want to show everybody, essentially, this is how most fans get up and down from there the same way that Marty did, which is just walking down. We just walk down this. And it's interesting when it's a bunch of fans, you see them all climbing up and down, 10, 20 people up and down this road. This is the little bluff that Marty walked down and then later rolled down in the movie. Yeah, you can see it there. That's kind of a fun little thing to do when you're here. So this is the area of the mall, and one of the things I wanted to point out that I didn't get to do yesterday. Here's like I'm showing. This is where the van would be parked, where the truck would be parked. This is where and this car actually happened to pass by just the right moment. This is where Einstein, when he's traveling time, he's coming more at us, but this is essentially the view that we have at that point. This is, as you can see, the stores have changed. It's no longer J.C. Penney or J. Robinson. It's Macy's and 24 Hour Fitness. Here I am. I was talking about how this is where when the Libyan chasing happens. Sorry, is it too jumpy for you guys or?
No, it's okay.
Okay. One of the things I want to point out, I'm going to skip through some of this, but you get the idea. This is it looks the way it did. The stores have changed, but it still essentially looks the same.
No one stay?
Huh?
About the stores, no one stay like it was 20 years ago?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
No one stores stays as it was 20 years ago, Macy's or another one, no?
Some of the, I think, I don't know. I feel like the only thing that I know that's somewhat similar is that there's Ross here, but then on the other side, in the movie, on the other side of the road, when Marty's coming down, there's a Ross there. The Ross just switched sides of the road. I have to assume some of the stores are the same, but these main ones here on this side, and even this whole complex was J.C. Penney, and now it is a Ross, 24 Hour Fitness, Burlington. It's been cut up into separate pieces, so it's multiple stores now.
The building stays the same, but not the brands.
Yeah, this is the point of view of the mall from the other side that we don't see in the movie. This is pointing towards, away from the mall. Just wanted to show that because that's kind of neat. And then here is where the Libyans come from. They come around this way. They meet up with Doc and Marty here. I'm going to go over all that in the car later. One of the things I want to point out was there's two reasons why they chose this mall. One of them is because, as you can see, there's no barriers. There's no things in the front of the parking spot. So you could just drive through the mall. There's nothing that's going to, other malls have that kind of barrier that doesn't let you just cross over. And, there's very few medians like these, anything blocking. So that was one of the reasons they chose this mall. The other one was because of the higher ground. The way that Marty's able to stand on this little hill and look down, they really wanted to have that shot. And this side of the mall really accomplishes that. So those are the two reasons why this mall was the perfect mall, or this entrance to this mall was the perfect mall. I'm gonna do,
No, it's okay. It's okay. Continue. No problem.
I'm gonna show you this. This is the drive. So this is the drive essentially. After the Libyans show up, Marty gets into the DeLorean, and this is the trajectory. So this is what I was talking about yesterday or the other day about how the movie kind of uses the natural geography of places. They don't like cut up things or whatever. The actual car chase, usually car chases are scattered, you know, in most movies it's just shot in different places and edited together. Here it's an actual route that you can follow in the mall. So this is part of that. Here's where he makes a sharp turn. Around here is where he says, let's see if these bastards can do 90. And then they, you know, he speeds up, and around here is where, you know, he hits the photo booth. So you can see it's an actual trajectory that you can follow. A lot of the fans do it. We've actually done events, and we recreated that that drive with a van and a DeLorean. So that's a fun thing to do, especially if you come at night when there's luckily there were no other cars there, but yeah. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to the 1955 Linus Estates.
So today with two locations.
Yeah, I just wanted to go. I feel like I didn't really do the mall justice yesterday.
Well, lucky. Oh, here it is. Yep.
So this is the area that's driving into Linus Estates. This is all the way out it's really far away out in Chino. I wanted to point out here on the right, if you can see my cursor, there's the water tower. We see this water tower at the location. And over here, what we're passing on the right here, and what the water tower is, it's a women's prison. That's the only thing that's around here, really. It's this women's prison. As you get closer, you'll see that there's I think it's right. No, it's right here. There's a gate here. Sometimes this location is closed. It's a private road. I've gone only on the weekends because there's a model airplane club that meets here. And they leave it open on the weekends for them to come and go. But I've never gone during the weekday, but I just don't want to risk. That's why I did a pre-recorded one. I don't want to risk showing up and it being closed. But essentially, this drive that we're doing is the drive that Marty does when he gets to Linus Estates. And as you can see here, I'm outside of the car here. I parked the car somewhat close to the gates. Here's the gate. Let me see if I can just play this. And yeah, this is the gate. This wasn't there, obviously, but there were this little kind of like inlet, this paved inlet was here, and then they put like the signs on either side, and then the billboard was over here on. Oh, sorry, the billboard was over here. I'll get to the billboard later, but I wanted to show here that this is the point of view that we see Marty arrive from. You see the water tower there again.
The tower
yeah, that's the one thing that we see.
We're lucky because it didn't change a lot. So
it hasn't changed.
They haven't built buildings or things like that. So
yeah, it hasn't changed for two reasons. One, because it is private land, and so here on the I want to show here on the right. This is like a farm. You can tell there's like a better fence. Everything this is like a farm. This is private land, and then on the left. What I realized the first time that I visited was that I drove on a highway that was coming from this side that brings me all the way around. This is the back end of a regional park. It's like a local park, so that's why this hasn't changed. It's part of like a natural park reserve or whatever. So I don't know if you can get to it from there, but that's why nothing's been built there because it's government land. It's a park. So yeah, it's stayed pretty secluded. I don't think they're ever it's gonna stay farmland probably for a long time. Here's again more of the inlet, more of the fence. This is where the billboard was. So there was the line of states and then the billboard. In the original script, they had it so that Marty arrived and his home was the model home, was the original home that was built as an example. And so the model home was here. There's no other homes. The model home was here. And then he put the car inside the garage of the model home. For the actual movie, it was cheaper not to build a whole house. So they just did the billboard that had a picture of what his house looked like. So that's kind of the reason why that billboard is there. I wanted to show. So yeah, this is the entrance. I'm trying to remember all the stuff that I talked about here. Let me see if I made notes. Yeah, so I was talking here. It's this is, you see how different the land is. This side of the land, the private property, is obviously being used, and the side that's the park is just natural. This is the point of view where we see the 2 miles to Hill Valley sign, and this is the tree that Marty walks in. So we're gonna walk in that direction for a little bit, but it's all kind of the same stuff. It's all very secluded. I like to imagine these are the mountains that we see behind the courthouse. It's not. It's obviously
imagine a valley just at the on the mountains. Cool.
Let's see. This is actually the I think this is the model airplane people. That's why the thing is open, is because they like to come on the weekend. So that's good for us. So that's another fandom that helps our fandom. And then here we are again with the fence. Oh, I wanted to talk about how this is on location in part 1. In part 2, and I could be wrong about this, and I feel like I should do more research about this, because it's just my impression that, again, maybe Michael can talk about this when he's on the show. But in part 2, this location was just built on a set. They didn't come back out here. This I feel like this is very, very far away from Los Angeles. It's about 60 miles. So I feel like for part 1, they came here, shot for a day. But for part 2, there's a lot more stuff going on here. You see the car flying in. You see Doc and Marty kind of walking and talking. I think I recreated something like that here, where like Doc and Marty were running back and forth. There's also the DeLorean flying in the sky. There was
using more SFX and having more trucks, etc. It has been easier to recreate another one on the set instead of coming. And
it was, at that point, when making the second one, they had more money, and it was just easier to build this whole section and use it as a main set. But so that's kind of interesting how it's like a real location that was recreated on set. Here's one of the model airplanes of the people that leave the gate open. And I don't know if there's any questions about this location that anybody wants me to answer.
We have still 5 minutes. I will see if there is some. For sure, it was in studio for part 2. Yes, probably that. It's interesting to know that they recreate the location in studio instead of coming, especially if it's far away for the.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to point out was that in the when Marty's driving down this way, before we get to this location, he's driving, and you see out the side of the car, and one of the bloopers from the movie is that he's driving by a rear projection, and it's a bunch of trees, pine trees, and all of a sudden it cuts to this. It's this, and there's no trees anywhere, because you can see this is really a forest area. So I'm just gonna let this run a little, just so you guys get an idea of like the space. It's all this back here is a park. This is private. All this whole fence says private. There's another little driveway here, but you can't drive in there. So we're kind of lucky that this is park property, because it's not gonna change probably for a long time. I'm gonna skip ahead a little, because I got back into the car and I just kind of drove down. So this is essentially the walk that Marty takes. 2 miles.
Trail Valley.
Towards Hill Valley, 2 miles. And then it ends over here. There's like a little gate here. So
you can.
you didn't
Okay.
get very far.
After it's a private road. All right.
Yeah, this whole road is private, but yeah, there's even more areas that are kind of cut off, so it doesn't really go anywhere.
The end of the road, the beginning of Hill Valley.
Yeah, exactly. I made some notes. Let's see. So yeah, so this is just driving back just to get another perspective from the other point of view, and yeah, it's one of the furthest away locations. I think the other one from LA. Obviously, there's things out in Monument Valley and up in Northern California, but in terms of LA, this location is pretty far away, and so is the railroad tracks in Oxnard. The difference is that like that railroad tracks is by the beach. It's up past Malibu. It's kind of a nice area. This is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Here's the gate, and then this is us driving back out. But yeah, so this is one of those locations that's like it's not hard to get to. It's just really far away, and then there's always a chance that you get there and it's going to be closed. So it's always a risk. And there's no other locations around it. At least at Oxnard, there's Hilldale, 1985.
So another reason to appreciate this video, this great video, because it's not easy to go there. It's far away from LA.
I'd love to. We've never gone here with an event, so I'd love to in the future do this with a group of people.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
when we rented those vans, just rent a van and come out here and like
Oh, cool.
Cool, you know. So here we're leaving here. Something I wanted to show before we finish was, and I'm kind of I think you can tell from when we went to Marty McFly's house that I'm a little bit obsessed with the high voltage power lines, and I kind of notice them a lot now. And there's actually high voltage power lines going through this area. So if we think of this as like line estates, 1955, in the 1985 ones, there's power lines. In 1955 ones, there would also be power lines.
Yes.
So, and that happens at a few of the locations. And then another thing I wanted to point out that I noticed this last time was that right here on the corner of Line Estates, with Pine Avenue, it's there's a 7-Eleven. Oh. And that's another thing I noticed a lot. A lot of locations, there's a lot of 7-Elevens in LA anyway, but near Marty's house is 7-Eleven. Right next to the school the other day when we were at the school and I drove away from the school, there's a 7-Eleven right next to the school. It's not that notable. There's 7-Elevens everywhere. But, you know, it's just, I always think of Marty going to play Wild Gunman at the 7-Eleven. So, and I'm personally a fan of 7-Eleven. I used to live across the street from one. Something a little thing I wanted to mention was the other day when we were at the Burger King thing, somebody said, was there anybody there who used to work there? And I said, no, but a lot of people tend to now know about Back to the Future or the locations, whereas 15, 20 years ago, they didn't. So the other day after we went to Hill Valley High and we finished, there's like a little kind of main street near the school. And I went there and I went to the Starbucks there to get a drink. And I was wearing my Back to the Future shirt. And the barista, this kid, and like can't be like more than 20 years old, was like, do you like that movie? Do you know they filmed the movie at the school over here? They filmed it at the mall? And I'm like, oh, yeah. So you'll find that, like, if you go to the mall and you walk around inside, if you're wearing something from the movie, people will tell you that. Like, I think we always get together at the mall on October 21st or October 25th at 1:15 a.m. It's a little like LA get together every year. And it's the first year that I lived in LA, I went there and we went to get food at a Wingstop, right? Like really like in one of the areas that you see in the movie. And yeah, the people were like, oh, did you know that Back to the Future? So like you'll find that a lot now, but it used to not be the case. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So wearing a Back to the Future t-shirt, sometimes it could be helpful.
Yeah, sometimes it could be helpful. Yeah. So that's all I have for today. I wish I could have done that one live. I just didn't want to risk getting there and having the gate be closed. And I panicked a little yesterday at the mall when I was like, oh no. And I just, so I'm kind of glad I have these pre-recorded ones.
But that is a good reason. And if there is a commercial with the ducks, yeah, it could be a good reason. The last, it's not a question, but someone I think came to the USA next year and is asking, Kevin, can you make some VIP tour?
Yeah. I always, if there's
So,
fans or friends of mine that come and they want to go, I'll drive people around. I'll take them places. It's one
brilliant.
of the reasons that I like living here. So if you're part of the Hill Valley, the Citizens of Hill Valley group,
Yeah, I
um,
think it
if you're
is.
not joining it, go ahead and join it. If you're watching this live stream, you are welcome to join.
And
And
we
then
will
yeah, like
provide.
usually people will go on there and say, "Oh, I'm going to be visiting LA on such and such date," and like if the pandemic isn't happening, I'll meet up with people or take them around or whatever. So yeah, let me know if anybody's coming to town.
All right.
I love taking people everywhere.
Very cool. We are all a family.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah,
thank you, Kevin. It was very interesting having
thank
this
you.
presentation, and it was very far away from LA. So having some details and seeing it in real, it's very cool.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thanks a lot, and see you tomorrow.
thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Kevin. Bye bye. So, guys, I will try to make a little challenge today. It's to try to speak English and just after to explain in French, because there's a lot of French people logged tonight, and we have an auction, very important, which is ending in 3 minutes. So I will try to speak French, English, and after I will ask some question to Mr. Klastorin when he will come, and I not be able to translate all he will say because I don't want to make some interruption between the interview, but all of the questions I will ask, I will try to ask also in French. And after the show, we will continue in French and in English. So, maintenant, pour les Français, je disais que j'allais aussi faire une petite interruption et puis de parler français aussi, faire mes questions en français et en anglais, on en profite. Hein. Par contre, je ne pourrais pas traduire toutes les réponses parce que je ne veux pas interrompre les questions et puis la bonne humeur qu'on pourrait avoir avec Mike, que je connais depuis très très longtemps. Et donc voilà, on va faire un petit peu français et anglais. Donc pour tout le monde, ça se termine dans 2 minutes. Mon Facebook, allez, il y a une super photo. Hop. This is the last 2 minutes opened to bid on this photo. Donc les 2 dernières minutes pour miser sur cette photo. It's a produced item, c'est une photo de production. And the starting price, it's something like 750. Donc la mise de départ, elle est de 750, un objet qui vaut bien plus. Donc n'hésitez pas, faites une bonne enchère, puis dans 1 ou 2 minutes, on va trouver le winner. So it's something incredible coming from the set. So if you want to make a donation and bid on this, you could be able to buy it. So let's come to my Facebook profile and put some bid on this duck clock photo. It was it. Really, it was it, coming directly from the set. And in a few minutes, we will have with us the Bible of Back to the Future, Mr. Klastorin, of course. Donc, dans 2 petites minutes, on va avoir Monsieur Michael Klastorin. Et puis, là, j'attends les dernières petites bids sur l'enchère. Il reste 1 petite minute. Je sais que bon nombre d'entre vous veulent miser. Donc, allez-y. Il reste encore 1 minute. Faites-vous plaisir. C'est pour la bonne cause, pour Team Fox. So, guys, the last minute to bid on the auction of the photo, it's for Team Fox, of course. So, make a good action. So, I will prepare the entrance of Michael, and I will let you to bid on my Facebook profile for the Team Fox auction. Up, and you could make some donations right there. Voilà, donc vous pouvez aussi faire des dons directement là si vous ne voulez pas être intéressé par la photo du clock. Et je rappelle qu'à 20h, donc voilà, il ne reste plus que 60 secondes, ce sera l'enchère la plus haute qui gagnera. So the highest bid will win in less than 60 seconds. All right? So thank you to be here. I will let those 60 seconds for people who want to switch, going to my Facebook profile instead of looking this video. Donc, je vous laisse encore les quelques secondes pour pouvoir switcher de l'autre côté si vous voulez regarder la bid et puis mettre des choses sur l'enchère. Et puis, on va accueillir Michael Klastorin dans 1 petite seconde. So, up, we will wait. I don't know. There is a lot of people there. Up in the Facebook. I'll try to see and to stop for the highest bid. Up. So, is there a bid? Up. I have someone at 800. I have someone at 800. And yes, I think 800 is the winner because it's 8 and 1 minute. So in live, I will refresh to be sure. Je vais rafraîchir pour être sûr de l'enchère et je crois qu'on a notre grand gagnant. After the refresh, we will see the winner. Yes, it's Eric Dacosta. Eric Dacosta, so welcome. Congratulations, Eric. You have won this beautiful production photo with the stamp of Ralph Nelson, of course, behind, and the certificate of authenticity coming rightly from the production set of Back to the Future. It was created during production and intended to be aged for the use in the library as an archive. So now I will launch a little teaser that you have probably seen, the teaser of Michael Klastorin, which will join us in a few seconds. So let's see this teaser, and just after we welcome the Bible of Back to the Future, Mr. Klastorin. Hello, Michael.
Hello.
How are you? Hello. Hey.
Well, how are you?
Here, Einstein, rightly from the dog's garage. Doc is not with me, and I launch you a challenge. The challenge to try to understand my dog language, because I will try today to speak Franglish. Sometime in French, sometime in English, so it will be challenging for you to try to understand. Okay, it's a challenge of the dog language.
That's a challenge I'm going to fail immediately. I'm already sure. I have a petit peu of high school French. École secondaire.
No. You have the right accent. You have the right accent. How are you doing? You're fine?
I'm very well. I'm very well. How's everyone out there? Who's out there?
I don't know. There are a lot of people there coming. A lot of people coming, and we are very happy. A lot of fans from France and a lot of people.
Probably people that I owe money to that they're trying to collect from.
Perhaps, yeah. I don't know who. I won't see the name. Probably those kind of people.
I'm very, very happy to be here, as always.
And we're very happy to welcome you. We're very happy to welcome you because, as you could imagine, for a lot of people, for a lot of fans, especially in Back to the Future, you're considered as the Bible because you have done so many books, but the last one, this one particularly, this one is considered as the Bible of Back to the Future. So for a lot of people, they think, and rightly, I think, that you are nobody knows the trilogy better than you. So we're very proud and very happy to welcome you today. And firstly, I have a question about the beginning of your career, because
yes,
as a lot of people said, you are a publicist, and you were a publicist on Back to the Future, but you're also a writer, etc. So just at the beginning of your career, even before starting, what I will put the question there. What kind of films or cinematographer did you study, and why? When you were a student, what the passion come from?
Well, the passion comes from movies. Just movies, as many movies as I could watch when I was a child, going through school and high school and college. I always had a love of movies, and I can't say that there was any one artist or filmmaker that inspired me. But I always, when people ask what would prepare one to be part of the movie business, the movie industry, I always say watch as many movies as you can, and that includes movies that starting way back. I mean, way back when they were black and white, when even some of them they didn't talk. There are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of brilliant movies that are underappreciated and should be appreciated. So it's just years and years of watching film and getting a love of them.
And having those mix of inspiration from very old movies and more recent.
Oh, absolutely. So, you have to, if you want to be in this business, and I'm not saying that people are asking me that, but it's just, you have to be able to speak film.
Yeah.
To
so you
know
have to have a rich culture
history,
movies.
And to be able to have a shared passion with the people with whom you're working.
Exactly. Yeah. Passion is the essence of the of each thing you have to do. So if you do things with passion, yeah, people will understand that you have passion on you, and especially.
And you develop relationships, you further relationships. Bob Gale and I had the same passion. One of our very favorite movies ever is The Great Escape with Steve McQueen and James Garner. And we bonded over that. And we still talk about it. So the more you know and the more you can discuss
the
it,
more relationships you contain, etc. All right.
If you find people who don't agree with you, then you cut them out. You tell them to go away. You unfriend them.
So, about for a lot of people in France, I don't know if for American or English fans, the name of publicist is well known of, if they knew exactly what is it. But I know that for French people, we have some difficulties to know exactly what is it, the profession of being a publicist, because we have some idea of a publicist have to make the publicity of the movie, but to make the promotion of the movie is not being a publicist, because being a publicist is more larger than only make the promotion of the movie. So could you explain exactly what is to be a publicist on a movie, particularly like in Back to the Future?
There are different types of publicists. It's not all falling under one name. My title on many films has been unit publicist. And the unit publicist is one who works only when the film is being made. So you are the representative of that movie between the studio and the public and the filmmakers, and you're either trying to attract publicity and invite people to the set, let them know what's going on to sort of tease them, or especially in the case of Back to the Futures 2 and 3, you try and keep people away because you don't want them to find out certain things. You don't want to spoil surprises. Now, it was much easier back when we were doing those movies and many others that I've worked on, because we didn't have the frenzy and the amount of media outlets who are desperately searching for filler, for space. Also, the technology didn't exist back then. The internet didn't exist to a point. So nobody could walk onto a set with a cell phone and broadcast like it was from a TV studio, because that didn't exist. So it was my job to be very nice to the press, but also explain why we couldn't have them there, except for one or two cases that we did have. Also, the role of a publicist is working, or unit publicist, because I want to specify, is working with the people on the set, like me and Ralph Nelson. Ralph and I had a very close relationship in getting photos. Not that he didn't know what kind of photos to take. He's a brilliant photographer, but sometimes there were things that we would want to set up or do specials of. So I would work closely with him, and then it was part of my job to take all of his photos and put them in front of various cast members, like Michael or Christopher or Leah, who had what's called photo approval. So they would have to look at all of the things that Ralph is taking and say, yes, 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 no, yes, yes. And that was a very, very long process. We didn't have computers to do that on.
My God.
I had little 35 millimeter slides in sheets and a light table that we would lay them on, and they would have to go and with a little eyepiece and look at them to see what they liked and what they didn't like.
Tonight we will put
in some cases I would
put some in
There you go. But multiply that by a couple of thousand.
I know, very expensive. So,
and then I had to go through all of them again 30 years later to pick out what I needed for the book.
By a time machine.
Yeah, if I didn't have this job, I wouldn't need these.
Sure. Me too. Yeah. Let's see some of the hits on which you work on. And firstly, on all of those movies, you work only as a unit publicist, and for some movies you were also another kind of publicist. Only unit publicist.
Only unit publicist. And
unit
as part of that job, I work in conjunction with the publicists at the studios.
Okay, yeah, right, okay.
So they would be taking the movie after it's done, after it's done in production, and they would be continuing to work on it until it goes into the theaters. Now, the one time that I stayed with a movie until it was in the theaters was Back to the Future 3. Because
in Back to the Future 3,
we were, when Back to the Future 2 went into theaters, we were making Back to the Future 3. And then after we finished production, I was very graciously invited by production and Universal Pictures to stay on as kind of a project coordinator. So a lot of events and a lot of planning, a lot of marketing that I was all part of, which was wonderful to be able to stay. Because when you finish making a film, you say goodbye to everybody and then you have no involvement with it, but it's something that's part of your blood. You've lived with it through its creation, and then you have to sort of say goodbye.
You spend a lot of them, and you spend a part of your life with them. So
exactly. You develop relationships. You work very hard, and they become.
Particularly in Back to the Future 2 and 3, because they were shot at the same time. So it was a long time to do because we worked on Back to the Future 2 and 3. But not on the first episode. And as you say, working on part 2 and then continuing just a few months after part 3. Wow. As For example, Joanna, yesterday we have
Yes.
welcomed Joanna Johnson and Jamel, and she said that it's a big work to prepare before the movie, but after also, because you have to have a lot of creativity and to put a lot of things in place. So I could imagine you as a unit publicist that you have to do a lot of work during the set, but even after, and the work is continuing. So having a lot of hours a day on the set. So, but at the same time, no?
Go ahead.
You didn't spend a lot of time on the set, or did you spend a lot of time on the set?
I spent all my time on the set.
Time,
every single day.
But a lot of the guests that we have invited said all the same thing, that they have spent a lot of time working on the set. It was hard, but it was at the same time very funny, like working in a little family, because they have spent 20 hours per day working, but at the same time, they work with fun and enjoy and passion. So this passion and this fun that a lot of you have during the shoot of the movie, we could have the same feeling when we watch the movie, because it's the feeling of fun that you have during the shoot. It's the feeling that we have now when we watch the movie. So it's very incredible that a lot of people spend a lot of time and work very hard, but at the same time, it was a funny experience. And all they said, yeah, it's my favorite experience working on Back to the Future. It was like working with family, you know? So the same feeling for you, Mike?
Oh, very much so. And I was very lucky because, as you said, I didn't work on part one. I did visit the set when they were shooting it. But when I got to part two, everybody who was in the crew pretty much had worked on part one. So they'd already established their own rhythms and they were already a family. But they welcomed me into that family. And it was the same with Joanna and Rick Carter, the production designer, because they had not worked on part one either. But we very quickly became accepted, and by the end of it, it was as if we had been there all the time. So yeah, what better working situation could you ask for than to be on a project that you have passion for, with people, surrounded by people who inspire you and you enjoy spending time with.
Sure. Yeah, it's incredible that they have accepted a lot of people country, and they consider to be a family, and it works very well, because this combination of all those teams and all those people, because there's a lot of teams. For example, as a designer, John told me, yeah, I work, but I was not alone. I was with a team, and another team from Michael Schaeffer, or another one. And but it works very well. So it's very good, because each of the team put a little things on the movie, and at the final result is very cool, because this trilogy, even 35 years after, when you watch it on TV, you said, it not seems a whole film. It seems that it's cool, and it's fresh, it's new. Your young child are watching the film and say, oh, it's cool. Not, oh, it's all movie, daddy. So the result was very great.
It's funny because certain movies that you work on, you know, go through the experience, and then you see it in the theater or see it on television, and it's okay, it's great. When I was writing the book originally, I think I must have had all three movies on my television at some point, pretty much every day, and I never got tired of them. And I can still, and a lot of people do this when you're flipping through the channels, looking, and you see Back to the Future or either of the sequels, and you stop, and you end up watching most of it. It never gets old.
Exactly. Yeah.
that's a wonderful quality for a movie to have, and of course that's why we're still here 35 years later, talking about the films.
True. Because it's a mix of a comedy, drama, sci-fi. It's something fresh and new. And even now, when you look at the movie, you say, "Wow, there is a passionate movie." It's a passionate movie. So, for sure,
And-
here we are in the Back to the Future forum. So we are all Back to the Future time. So now let's do a little cameo. I don't know if the English word is cameo, but with Cowboy Legend. And up in those two photos, you could see some Western guys from part
Yes, wonderful,
and,
wonderful people.
Some groups playing there, which is the ZZ Top. So I have a little question for the guys who are watching us, and all of you that were watching us now, you could try to win and to apply. We put up to win those prizes, which are the DeLorean in the overboard, in the flying model, and a little teeny puzzle, a miniature puzzle with Doc Brown for the Team Fox, of course. So those little prizes are for you if you give the 3 names of the cowboys who put the cameos in Back to the Future 3.
Oh, so can I win?
No, if you want to, so you could, but I'm sure you could be the winner because I'm sure you know the names. So
okay, yes, I know.
Okay. But I will send you that as a gift for you.
Okay.
I have more. So consider you as a winner, Michael.
Okay.
I will see some comments, and if some people put the right name. So I will translate in French to make easy. And so, pour les personnes qui sont en France, si vous donnez le nom des 3 personnes qui jouent sur cette photo, qui sont donc les 3 cow-boys que l'on voit, alors pas les 3 ZZ Top, mais les autres, le premier qui donne les 3 noms, eh bien, gagne les petits cadeaux que j'ai fait voir. Donc, à vous de jouer. Et puis, Michael, il nous donnera la réponse. Voilà, il nous donnera la réponse tout à l'heure. Donc, le premier qui met les 3 réponses, the first one who puts the 3 names of the people who play those cowboys win those extra. So, time to play with us. Allez hop, on y va. Vous jouez. Le premier qui fait ça a gagné. So, we will wait for the answer. Michael, a little.
Okay. Now, by the way, I can't see on Facebook the comments or the people who are maybe saying hi or whatever. So I'm not ignoring anyone if you are speaking to me, because the link that Mitch sent me doesn't show me what's going on with everybody else.
Yeah. So I will try to put some comments. For example, here, Indy. Hey, Mike and Mitch.
Indy, how are you?
Indy say, I have 6 copies of your book. I owe you.
Wow. I think you need more.
Yeah, probably 6 more.
6 more of the new one. That'll match the old.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to up to date. Hey, Mike and Mitch, Indy. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Ian. And who's that? Sam.
Bonjour,
Sam.
For France. Up and up. Kevin Bosch visiting Evelyn. Joy just mentioned live stream too.
Yeah, Kevin's just trying to get people to go into his website. He doesn't care about me. He's trolling you people.
You've done with a great job. So, I have some names. I have some name. Which is the first one? Hey, Yuki Damisu, my fan.
Hello, my friend Yuki.
Hello, Yuki. He's watching us from Japan. Now it's something like 1 or 2 o'clock in Japan or more.
I think it's next week in Japan. I'm not sure of the time difference.
Yeah, it's the next day. He took a time machine.
Yeah.
And Seb, you're an actor too. Was it difficult to say hello, Wow. So was it difficult to say this one? Would you do it for us now? The famous, not hello, McFly, but your famous sentence with Mr. Eastwood.
Yeah. Oh, I
Something
suppose
a lot
so.
of people have asked, Probably you're fed up.
Oh, I never get asked that. Good morning, Mr. Eastwood.
Wow, incredible. We were on live show.
And
The same voice,
my
the same
bill will be in the mail for that.
So the first one, I don't know if it's Pat Bertram, Hurricane Jr., and Dub Taylor. Yes. So this is a winner. Do you confess the answer? Yeah. Those are
Dub Taylor, yes.
And Dub, exactly. Bravo, Sébastien. So Sébastien, you win the DeLorean in overboard mode and the little teeny puzzle of Tim Fox. This is a puzzle with the DeLorean and Doc Brown, a miniature one, very cool. And all benefits, as you could see, for Team Fox. You have the Team Fox logo.
Yay, Team Fox. Go Team Fox.
Go Team Fox. Go Team Fox. And you have to bid to make donation. So, bravo, congratulations, Sébastien. And now perhaps we could see if we have some other question.
Wait. I know you talked Dub Taylor, but what about the other two? We can't forget them.
No. He put Dub Taylor and he put whose name were up. Pat Bertram and Harvey Carey Jr.
Okay.
Harvey Carey Jr. and Pat Bertram. Yeah.
Yes.
Those three guys. So yeah, there were those cowboys playing in cameo. And perhaps you could talk about I put the image about the other cameo in the movie, which was done by the ZZ Top, because they show up as musicians in the movie. So which of you have had the idea? Was it Bob Zemeckis? So they say, oh, for this group, I want the ZZ Top band. Was it a choice, or how did they involved in the movie? How did they come in the movie?
Oh, it was definitely a choice, and I believe it came from Bob Zemeckis.
Zemeckis, yeah. He loved the way they played, and they have the right stature because the ZZ Top with the beers, etc., fits very well in this period.
They fit perfectly in. The funny story that I tell in the book, when I was talking to Billy from ZZ Top, he said when they went to the set to meet with Bob and Bob up in Northern California, the set of Part 3, they were walking around and they got stopped by security because nobody knew who they were. So they and I think even Bob Zemeckis, gosh, I should know this because I wrote it. I think Bob Zemeckis didn't recognize them at first.
Yeah, because with the costumes, etc., it was perhaps difficult, and a lot of people on the set, so perhaps it was difficult to recognize them.
And they fit in so well, so they could have any of the extras. Yeah. But it was very funny, and they had a meeting, and then they decided to put them in the movie. Originally, it wasn't about them doing this cameo; it was about them doing the song for the movie.
Okay, yeah, all right, okay, very cool. So they took them and they do the song and the cameo. All right, very cool. Yeah. And at the same time, if you in the same idea. Talking about this photo, you do a cameo also because as an artist, as an actor, you came in the movie. So how did it happen that you played in the movie this character of this cowboy? Did you decide it, or hey, Mike, you have to be on the movie, so let's put some guitar and something. Let's play the cowboy.
I think it happened because I wanted to do it. Because once we got up to 1885 Hill Valley, and we were working out on this amazing set with everybody dressed up in the wonderful Western costumes that Joanna had created. And the way it was set up was interesting in that most of the vehicles, most of the trucks, most of the modern vehicles were kept away from the set. So when you were on that set, it was really almost being back in that time period. And I looked around and I said to Bob Gale, I want to be a cowboy. And he said, you gotta let me be a cowboy. So he went to Bob Zemeckis, and I wasn't the only one who had sort of made that request. And Mr. Zemeckis said, "Oh, sure, what the heck, put him in." And there was that little scene in the script, and luckily they hadn't cast it yet, so they were able to put myself and Kenny Myers, who makeup, and Mike Mills, and I forget and Marvin. Marvin was the only actor, the Undertaker. He was an actor in that piece, but the rest of us were, crew members who got this wonderful treat to be able to be immortalized in the Old West.
But Marvin, you have done so many movies before Back to the Future, etc. A lot of movies, Marvin. A lot of movies. I love this guy. He's very fun. All right, so congratulations for this character, this cowboy with this famous little.
Thank you. I'm going to go out and do a
love it. We love it. And I think it's Joanna who sent me this photo also of those cowboys. Very cool. In black and white photo. This one I will show you up. Very cool on the salon scene.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool. I think it's the same photo. And
well, we were so.
I think it's Joanna.
Sorry, don't mean to talk over you. It's a little lag, I guess, that we're having. We were so thrilled to have those three gentlemen as part of that scene because they are film history.
Sure, they've made a lot of movies.
In between takes or on breaks or whatever, we'd sit and they would tell wonderful stories, and they were just so kind, and it was a thrill to just be in their presence. And I know everybody felt that way, starting from Michael and Chris and Tom Wilson. Everybody there just couldn't have enjoyed themselves more getting to know them. And then, a couple of the others as well. Matt Clark, who was the bartender. And our Colt salesman, Burton Gilliam, Blazing Saddles. So
he will be on in a few days. He's very funny also, and he has made a lot of movies. And as you said, it was a great combination between those people who has made so many movies, which are actors for years and years, and some others which were only the crews of people, the native people, which were also doing those scenes, because in the movies, a lot of native people played in the movies, some little role, little characters and little scenes, but the mix between these actors and the only people who play only one scene is perfect, and you don't notice that there is a certain difference between, for example, those guys who made history and your scene of you that with just your little character, but you do it so perfectly that you think that a lot of people, all of the people involved in the movie are part of history because they are actors for years and years and years. But in fact, it's not true. Some of them were, but a lot of people were not actors, as you said. They were part of the crew or part of native people. And it was very funny because when I go to 85 event held by Terry and Oliver, and you were here.
Yeah.
So we met a lot of lovely people, natives from this area, and a lot of them said, I played in Back to the Future as a background character, etc. But you don't notice that it's a background character, okay, but a lot of people play those kind of characters with so passionate, being so passionate that you don't notice it's not actors, but natives or crew or anybody coming from many teams. And you think that there's a lot of actors doing those movies, and at the end, it works perfectly because the movie is so great. So yeah, we really enjoy it. Mm-hmm.
I think Robert Zemeckis took his cue from Doc Brown. If you're going to make a Western, why not do it with some style?
Exactly, yeah. And he put his style exactly, yeah. He has the right center. This is the right answer to that. So, I want to talk to another thing now, because we have talked about being a publicist, being
Yes.
an actor, like in that image. And now let's talk perhaps a little about being a writer, because you wrote so many books or so, and particularly this one I have in hands. For me, this one, it was released in 1990, yeah, something like that, just after the movie. Yeah.
Yes.
And for me, this one, you worked it with Sally, no? Sally
Hibbon.
Oh, no.
Sally had come to the set. She was hired by a publisher, and she came to the set. She was based in Europe. So she spent about 2 weeks, I think, with us, and did a number of interviews. And she went back, and she wrote her version of the book, and there just seemed to, and she's a lovely person and very good writer. Some people just felt that it needed a different touch,
a different point of view, and
yeah. So, being that I had been there and was the one who had the most overall knowledge and had some writing skills to boot, it was Bob Gale who recommended to Universal that I have a go at it, and it was, I was very honored, of course. It was difficult in that this was sort of a very rushed thing, because the publisher had already laid out all of the photos in that book. And they basically told me, you only have so many number of words that you can write that will fit around those photos, and you can't go over.
Oh my God.
So
very difficult.
It was really interesting to do, but it was also very frustrating. Because there was so much that I wanted to say and write about. So, you could say that that was the birth of the ultimate visual history.
Exactly.
That someday I wanted to do the full version and really go, there you go.
Sure, you have a lot to say, because when you have wrote the second one, it's 10 times bigger. So you have a lot to say.
Obviously, I'm still not finished talking about it, because we got the new one coming out in a couple of weeks.
So we have to buy a bibliothèque to put all of your books inside, because it's all version. But
yes, you do. Everybody go out and buy a bibliothèque and stock it with my books.
Michael Klastorin's book inside.
That's correct.
So, just finishing with this book, what kind of information could we find inside this book? Same information that the other one? Behind-the-scenes stories, some exclusivity, or just a little resume of the 3 parts?
A combination of all of that. It was to be what the ultimate visual history became. We talked about
So it
how the
was
movie
strange.
was made and focused on certain sequences in a film. In part 2, we had the pizza scene in 2015 and broke that down. So it was highlights of all 3 movies.
Oh.
And you know, I'm very proud of it. But it, as I said, it was very frustrating because there was so much more I wanted out of it.
Probably limited.
And it took a while, but I got what I wanted.
Sure. And I'm happy to have it. Yeah, a lot of cool things.
And I am very, very fortunate that it has been received so well by the fans. I consider myself very, very lucky, and gratified. And you say people consider it the Bible. That's the highest honor that a writer can get, and I thank everybody for making it such.
What is important and what is very intelligent is to try to put the story inside. It's not only speaking about Back to the Future, but it's trying to put Back to the Future on a book, because day after day, scene after scene, you discover the set and you discover the work on the set, and even bigger than only the set, because you talk about each scene day after day, etc. But you talk also about the coming of the scene, where it was made, etc. So a lot of cool things inside. And as I said, yeah, for a lot of men, not only speaking about France, because I have a lot of connection over the world, and each fan in each country said, oh, yeah, there is one book speaking about Back to the Future. This is this one, the Bible, the Michael Klastorin book, because inside you will find all the things you want to know about the trilogy. But yeah, it's a Bible, but there is a little question, which for me does make sense. It's how long was it to make this book? Because from the beginning to the end, as you said, you did it, and it took time. But how long? Was it in months, in years?
It took 30 years.
30 years to make, because you have the idea of making this book just after the movie and say, oh, I have to make it. And you made a lot of research, as you said, 3 or 4 days ago.
For the real answer is when from the time that the publisher agreed to do it until I finished all of the writing and all of the photos, it was probably about a year.
A year, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a year just for that part. But as you said, you think of it long time ago and a long time ago, doing a lot of research, etc. For example, how difficult was to make this book, because there's a lot of anecdote. You work by, of course, having those photos at Universal Studio in the archives room, but you have also to see all the notes that you have to during the set, and perhaps also to give a lot of phone calls to all those people to say, hey, could I help me? I have something that, how does it take, and how do you work when you have the idea of making a book like that? What is the challenge to say, I have to say, and to make that, in that way, in that way, in that way, to be able to finish it in the right delay?
Well, you have to figure out pretty much in advance what you hope to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that dictates what you're going to need to do everything that you want. I was, as I've said many times before, I got unparalleled cooperation.
So
starting with Bob Gale.
Mm-hmm.
I called Bob and I said, okay, Bob, I got the deal. I'm going to be writing the book. And 15 minutes later, I got an email from him with a list of names saying, these people have already agreed to be interviewed.
Oh.
So he immediately just started doing half my work for me in contacting all these people. I mean, part of the joy of writing that book was also reconnecting with all of the people that I was able to, which was, that I hadn't seen or spoken to in decades.
You give a call, you reconnect with people, yeah.
And then we just sort of took up where we left off. And so everybody was just so helpful, and people like John Bell and Joanna, who gave of their materials to include in the book, and not just them, but Michael Chaffee. There are so many names. Look in the back of the book. I list everybody.
Exactly. There's a lot of things.
But it's so, it's knowing that, and also I had the luxury of having all of the materials. Hey, I know that guy. Of having all of the call sheets from every single day of shooting.
Wow.
And there's another document that is a daily document. It's a production report. And that's a report that goes to the studio, and just lists everything that happened on one particular day, and if something went wrong or something was needed or if there was a problem. So I had every single production report. So I could go back and say, oh, on May 11th, that happened, which I should ask this person about that story. So, it helped in that way. Plus, Bob Z and Bob Gale, Neil Canton, Steve Starkey, everybody just gave of themselves. So nobody that I approached said no to an interview.
I don't want or no,
except one person. I'm not going to name them, but one person didn't, see fit to be part of the group. And I'm not talking about Eric Stoltz, but he turned it down as well.
Oh, no cool.
But I didn't expect him to say yes. So it's okay.
Things happen.
And what's great is that in the last 5 years, there's still a lot of stuff that's gone on in the world of Back to the Future. So as we approach this anniversary, when I got a call saying, would you like to update your book?
Some things, yeah.
Absolutely.
That a new one is coming.
Yeah, and it gave me a chance to get to know the people who were involved in the musical, which was absolutely phenomenal. I loved speaking to those people as well, and they were just as welcoming and helpful as everybody who from the films. So I made new friends.
Yeah, it's something fresh and new. They're so kind and lovely people. I met a lot of them also, and they're very involved in what they have done and in the musical. Very kind people.
And interestingly, what was very, very gratifying and flattering was that when I spoke to one of the production designer of the musical and the director of the musical, and Colin Ingram, who's the producer over in London, each and every one of them said, your book was on stage with us every single day.
No.
So wow.
Yeah. The reference, yeah, sure. Incredible.
So I asked for my consulting fee, which that didn't fly too well, but I can't wait to go over there and see the musical in London next year.
Sure.
It's going to be an amazing experience.
Wait to go there. So yeah, a lot of fun, and I'm sure it will be a success. And unfortunately, this COVID period stopped the show, but it was I don't want to spoil it, but It's an amazing show, and Bob has found the right things that made the movie as a fresh show. It's very fresh. It's very new. There are some things that which are very cool on stage for a theater and not, for example, on a movie. So you have done the right choice of putting those kinds of things rightly on the stage for doing a musical. And it's very, very well done. It's,
I was very, very pleased when the production designer, Tim, he and I were doing a Skype call, and we were talking. I said, how do you get a DeLorean to go 88 miles per hour on a stage?
yeah, you do that on stage.
And he showed me a little clip of how the effect was achieved, and I was totally blown away.
Astonishing. Yeah, that's sure. Yeah, they made some real thing. Guys, for those of you who didn't go to Manchester or who haven't seen the Manchester the musical, go to London. It's a piece of
London.
Something, something very cool, and it's wow. I'm sure it will be a success. No possible.
Absolutely.
I have another cool. Yeah. Cool
there's my buddy.
Bob and Chris Levy. So yeah, that's now we perhaps we could speak a little about the new revised edition, because as you said, it's a new book and involving things about the musicals, involving some new things. So a lot of people consider this one, which is the edition, it comes with or without the little sculpture of Doc and Marty, but there is some different edition for this book. But now the new revised edition that you have made and will be available in less than 1 month, I think. It's a new one. A new one with some news. So tell us about the news, please, Mike.
It's pretty much the same book as you have in front of you, except that it's got 14.7% more history in it. It's and Doc Brown did those calculations. So
Doc Brown.
I know the guy, so I called him up and I said, asked him to give me those figures. The reason, the fact that we're still talking about Back to the Future 35 years after the world means that Back to the Future has never stopped growing. There are new outlets. Okay, they're not going to be a Back to the Future 4, so that's out. But there are other ways, other outlets in which Back to the Future still can entertain us, and we can be a part of it. And so the original book stopped in 2015, or just before 2015, because it had to be out in 2015, so I had to stop writing. Then 2015 was the year. It was the year Marty and Doc showed up in the future. And just in that week alone, surrounding it, there were so many wonderful events going on. So those needed to be chronicled. There were other events. They started doing Back to the Future in concert, where they would play, a full orchestra would play the score as the film was being projected, which had never been done. So there were a lot of things that I was able to address and include now that I had also lived through. The We're Going Back week in Los Angeles, Marty and Doc going on to the Jimmy Kimmel show in New York. And then going forward, Doc Brown showing up in the movie A Million Ways to Die in the West as a big surprise. Little things, the Back to the Future comic books the toys, everything that just has kept perpetuating the Back to the Future name and the project, and then of course leading into the musical. So of that last chapter, I think at least half of it is a good look at how the musical came into being and how it finally opened up on stage in Manchester. So a look at the process of it. So I'm really, really happy that I was able to do that. And who knows, another 5 years goes by, I may have to do a 40th anniversary edition. Hopefully, knock on wood.
No, and then it never ends. Because Ed, we said trilogy. We haven't made part 4. So as a trilogy, people is talking about the trilogy because it will be and it will kept as a trilogy. And as you said, many ways exist to promote Back to the Future in different ways, with some operas, theaters, cinema, live event, etc. Anniversary each 5 years or 2 years, etc. So I'm sure it will never stop. And a lot of fans we are like a big family now.
It's great to be able to meet the fans. I've been fortunate enough to go to a number of the conventions here in the States, and to be on stage and ask questions of Michael and Chris and Leah and Tom, and have, how lucky am I where I get to go and hang out with my friends in front of 5,000 people, but we're still up there having a great time. And then it is really fun to be able to engage with the fans, because they share in the passion that I have for Back to the Future. And
we share all the same passion.
Absolutely. So it's great. And once we get rid of this COVID thing, there'll be more conventions, and I'll go out and do the same thing and keep going with it. I mean, in the meantime, here comes the commercial pitch. In the meantime, when my book is released again, I'm setting up a website that you can go to and order the book directly from me to be signed and sent to you. If you are in Europe, the UK, France, wherever, and you want that, it's really expensive to ship a book from the United States. It more than doubles the price. So my very good friend, who I believe is out there, Adam Gradwell.
Yeah, Adam is up. I was texting Michael, and I will show an opening night telling him how good it is. I was actually texting Michael on opening night telling him
He did. And even sent me a program, which I thought was very, very kind of him. But Adam is being very, very helpful in terms of he will have a number of books, and I will sign autograph cards, these right here, and I will personalize them, and you can just take that and put it in the book.
Put it in the book.
So you can,
and we will call the signature edition book.
Right. We will give out instructions on how to get to him, my website for people in the States, and Adam's information for people in the rest of the world. And I hope you all feel it's worth the time. When the book was announced, some people said, "Well, what's different? Why should I buy another book?" And they said that in that exact words.
Because of the percentage. That calculation.
Yeah. So, hopefully we'll see a lot of people, and I can sign a lot of stuff, and we'll ultimately get to meet somewhere. For those, I'll be showing up in London one of these days, So maybe we
Sure.
can do something there with
Exactly. Yeah,
with
sure.
the fans. And in the meantime, we move forward.
We have yet met some signature together, I think months ago, years ago. I don't remember. Do you remember with some little
At
photos?
the Gamble House.
Yeah, we have yet met some signature session. And yes, as you said, if you come to London, or we could arrange something, because I have yet a lot of fans from France, and Adam sure have a lot of people also that are waiting for the book. So I'm sure they will be very happy to have those little inserts with your signature in this book. So thank you, Michael. Do you
My
have
pleasure.
a
Thank
work
you.
in progress now? Do you have something on which you're working on, or something secret to tell us?
I do, but I can't talk about it.
Yeah. So let's
It's
see
a
it in the future.
super secret.
Super secret, yeah. But can't wait to have some information about it.
Yes, and
So-
and when I can talk about it, you will know, and everyone.
Thank you so much. And we will hand together with another last image is talking about Team Fox, of course, because
Of course.
all of fans and all of my members of ATM Power Association in France, in Japan, in Spain, in UK, and in America are proud to have and are lucky to be able to welcome you tonight on board for our event. And just a little reminder, after each interview, I launched another auction, which is a 20 hours auction, and each day you could bid on it. All benefits Team Fox, guys. So be generous, and this is the main reason I have made this live event. And we have to say that you come here freely as a lot of guests just to help me, just to help us to raise funds. So it's very important also to say that you take of your time, of your personal time, to be there 1 hour with us. And for that reason, thank you, Michael. Very appreciate.
Oh my gosh, that's a privilege for me to be able to do even the smallest part for on behalf of Team Fox, and like so many people, I appreciate everything that you do, and the work that goes into it, because we need to support it. We need to support Michael, because I've always said, if anybody is going to help beat Parkinson's, I think it's going to be Michael J. Fox.
Exactly. Right hand. So thank you, Michael, and see you in the future with those little secrets. And we're very happy to be able to buy this new edition of this book. What percentage was it of novelty, as the brand said? 40 or 75%? So a lot of good things, a lot of inside. So go for it when it will be released, guys. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Mitch. I'll be watching throughout the week. So
yeah, okay.
I'll be here. Keeping an eye on you. Bye, everybody. Thanks for showing up.
Keep an eye on it. Thank you, Mike. Bye-bye. See you later. Bye-bye. Thank you. So I will continue in English and also in little French. We are very happy to invite Michael Klastorin with us tonight. As you could note, a lot of new things on the book. So we can't wait to have the new revised edition. It's very important to know that you support also Parkinson and Team Fox buying this book. And now we have the opportunity to see Pedro's Torome works as each day. We will see some little things about the movie. So up. Let's see now some anecdotes coming from 80 miles per hour Association and Pedro. So Pedro, tonight we have a little anecdote about Mr. Fusion. Yeah, so Mr. Fusion, which appears in Back to the Future 1, 2, 3, was also used in Alien, just so many years before Back to the Future. And in fact, it's a German coffee grinder, date of the coming from the 70s. So it's a German Krups coffee grinder, and the original idea of using Mr. Fusion was based on a German coffee grinder. So cool thing, Pedro. Thanks to share it. Next anecdote. Yes, about the script. The script was rejected 40 times by major producers before being Back to the Future. So just to say to all of you, when you do something, try and repeat it, because it pays at the end. And if Bob Zemeckis and if Bob Gale were not with the idea of making this movie, I'm sure they didn't make it, because a lot of times it was rejected. So thanks for them to keep the faith and to try to involve a producer on it. And with Steven Spielberg, they have done a great job. So another thing, this one, I think few people know these things. The origin of Marty's badge. In fact, it was taken from the cover of a 1971 Russian exhibition based on the painting of Lisitsky. So if you see the full screen and up here, it's in full screen, the Art of Revolution, you could see in that area that it was the painting by Lisitsky. And it's the same thing, just the same thing. So it was the origin of Marty's badge. And now, speaking about someone which is Needles, you can note Needles in 2015 and in 1985. It's in fact Flair from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, as you know. And it was very cool to have another, not a cameo, because he don't play a musician, but he play a very cool character in Back to the Future 1. So Needles here with Flair. And the last thing for today, what the eyes doesn't see, for example, here you could note some difference on this jacket. Here, there's a little things, and here, this is not the same jacket, not as the same thing, just in few differences during the two takes. So another thing, and we ended with that, is the letters. I don't remember if you have yet spoken about the letters, but you could see it's not the same. So that's all for today. I just wanna remind that we have the auction about this painting, which is very important, and we will reveal the name of the winner on Wednesday. We will invite Bob Gale, and we will reveal the name of the winner. Another important thing is that I will launch in few minutes or hours a new auction. Donc je vais lancer une nouvelle enchère. And this is some slide coming from the set. C'est donc des diapositives qui viennent. Non, c'est pas du set. No. There are slides coming from the set. There are slides coming from personal life of Michael J. Fox. They are all things from Celebrity Photo Agency, which is the personal agency which was used for Michael J. Donc, vous avez ici des slides issus de l'agence Personal Agency, qui était l'agence utilisée pour faire les photos de Michael J. Fox. Ce ne sont pas des photos que vous voyez en presse, c'est une agence privée sur laquelle il y a eu tout plein de photos directement de Michael J. Fox, donc de lui, sa femme, ses enfants, sa mère, à différentes conventions. Ce ne sont que des photos privées qui n'ont jamais été mis dans des photos de presse, puisque c'est par une agence privée. Ce sont celles qu'on a remis à la famille de Michael, ou alors s'il ne les voulait pas, il les a laissées au photographe, et j'ai eu la chance de les avoir de ce même photographe qui a travaillé dans cette agence. Donc là, des slides inédits, some exclusive slides coming from the photo agency and which were not on press. So this is the action we will follow tomorrow, and it will end at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Donc l'enchère, je l'annonce dans quelques temps, et elle se terminera à 8 heures demain. Voilà, donc c'est tout pour ce soir. Encore bravo à Eric pour la peinture, pour la photo du doc. Et puis en tout cas, merci à Michael pour la superbe interview. Merci à tout le monde. Thanks to all of you guys for being there and watching the interview and being there every night. It was very important to be involved in Team Fox. And I will try to see if there is some donation. And if there are some donations today, I will give you the same gift as yesterday. Donc, je vais regarder s'il y a des dons sur la page. Et pour les gens qui ont fait des dons, ce sera pareil, à savoir, it will be the same gift, the storyboard, beef money, radioactive stickers, Cusco, flyer, you're fired. So same lot for each of you who have done some donation on the Team Fox link. Donc pour tous les gens qui auront donné, voilà les petits lots que tout le monde gagne tous les soirs. Donc thank you to be with us, to be with me because I was alone today. Donc merci d'être avec nous, en tout cas d'être avec moi parce que j'étais tout seul aujourd'hui. Sorry for the difficult exercise to speak English and French. Désolé pour l'exercice difficile d'essayer de parler français et anglais. De temps en temps, on sait s'embarquer en anglais, donc je pense que je continuerai en anglais, mais en mettant des sous-titres sur la chaîne YouTube. On a commencé une chaîne YouTube pour héberger les vidéos, on peut mettre des sous-titres, même si c'est en anglais, on comprend mieux. Et je vais essayer de mettre comme ce soir les questions par écrit directement en sous-titres. C'est plus facile de les avoir. And I will try to put each day the questions with a banner to be more easily to understand for each of you guys. So let's see you tomorrow. Thanks for all the donation you have done, I'm sure. And see you tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye. See you. And it was very interesting having the man who wrote the Bible. And sure, the next edition will be another Bible. So 2 Bibles for the price of 1. Thanks. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.